NFL season is back. We are here today. Kobe, you're here today. We're going to try to get through all 32 teams and see what teams do you have a hot take for? What teams do you feel very strongly about? What teams that we don't? We're going to jump right into it because we don't want this video to be 3 hours long. Let's start with the AFC East. We got Buffalo, Miami, New England, the New York Jets. Obviously, the Jets are a new look team. The Miami Dolphins, they were a pretty good roster last year. Tua, big question marks on one, how good is he at quarterback? And two, how long can he play quarterback given that he's had like some serious concussion issues over the last couple of years? And then you had the Buffalo Bills and Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. Do you think this division is going to shake out and be a surprise, or any surprises in this division?
So I got a take, and we try not to do the hot take stuff on here. We try not to do that, but I think this one might be kind of hot.
Is it about Buffalo?
It is about Buffalo.
This is a hot take that is pretty popular amongst certain NFL circles.
I think they're going to finish third, at least third, at best third, I should say. I think they're going to finish at best third this year.
Buffalo Bills. That's not the first time I've heard that. Ryan Tracy, who covers the Chiefs on, he feels the exact same way. In some respects, you could say that the Buffalo Bills might be the Los Angeles Clippers to the Kansas City Chiefs Warriors, right? Where we were like, oh man, they're going to be neck and neck. And then they couldn't get through the playoffs. And then the next thing you know, they get dumped in the second round by Cincinnati, and don't nobody take them serious no more. Meanwhile, Kansas City's still Kansas City. It could be that way, right? Stephon Diggs wants out. I don't know if that defense is actually good.
I think they're bad. I think they're going to be a bad defense this year. That's why I think they're going to finish at best third.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you look around, if that offense isn't clicking through the air, and it might because Josh Allen's good, but if it's not clicking through the air, they can't run the ball. I know they have Dalvin Cook, but like, release for a reason. Right? Like, if he was still carrying offenses like he did 2 years ago, he would not be a free agent. I know you can say anything about how people don't value running back, this and that, and third. The good ones don't get away, right? Like, nobody plays games with the Nick Chubbs, the Derrick Henrys, the Christian McCaffreys of the world. Those guys get their money. So Dalvin's not really that kind of back. He's better than, like, I guess he's better than Devin Singletary, but I don't know. I feel like they've been one-dimensional for a while. They've been able to get away with it because I think their division's been pretty weak in years past, because you got McCorkle Jones. He ain't going to hurt you offensively. The Jets had Zach Wilson out there. That wasn't going to be somebody who hurt you. And the Dolphins had the potential to hurt you offensively, but Tua out there throwing the ball. So, like, you don't know what you're getting from a week in, week out basis from them. They've been able to coast by and being in an easy division, similar to how the Patriots did earlier in the decade. And I can really see that happening. What do you think about the Jets? Like, are you a believer in the Jets, or are you a skeptic about this thing? And also, where does this current version of Aaron Rodgers rank in the AFC picture?
Okay, so let's start with the Jets first before we get into Rodgers real quick.
Because
I think we might disagree. I think we might disagree on how we feel about Aaron Rodgers personally, but we'll get to that in a second. As far as the Jets, I don't know if I'm a believer or a skeptic. I feel like I'm an agnostic. I gotta see it. I gotta see it to know where it is, because I think defensively they're going to be very good, especially when you talk about that defensive line. They got guys on the interior. They got guys rushing the passer, and they are deep. Those rotations, the rotations of defensive linemen they have, and just pass rushers, like they're gonna be able to get after quarterbacks, and I think that's going to make a big difference, especially what they have on the back end with Sauce. And I think their linebackers are pretty good and a little bit underrated, actually. So I think they're going to be very good defensively, and they're going to win games because of that. Quentin Williams, by the way, Quentin Williams is special. Like that.
Quentin and Quincy, they got both of them, don't they?
Yeah, I think they got both. Like they're Quincy's good, but Quentin is different, dog.
Yeah, Quentin looking like the guy that they thought they was getting out of Alabama.
Yeah, Quentin is.
Like he took the braces off and he hit the next tier. He hit the next tier. That's a grown man out there. You know, young Quentin Williams all for the games. Grown man Quentin Williams. Oh, watch out, Jeffrey.
listen. Like, is Aaron Donald's number one? I think Quentin is number two.
There's nothing more terrifying than a dominating 3-tech. Like, I think that's one of the most. I think there's two underrated things in football that people just don't appreciate how much that could just ruin a game for somebody. A great running back can do that to you, where it don't matter. We can't tackle him. How many games has that been Derrick Henry? Like, man, we stacking the box, dog. Like, we can't tackle him. Like, it don't matter. We shooting gaps. We trying to we know what they're running. We're right there. He just runs through it. Like, what do you want me to do? We got to barricade the defense in order to stop him. Destroys the game. And when a 3-tech is dominating, like, I mean, not like he's having a good day and PFF's going to give him a 90 grade. I mean, like, you can notice it when you like, damn, who's that at 3-tech? Don't nothing ruin the offensive game plan than that. Remember when Jeffrey Simmons did that to the Cincinnati Bengals?
Mm-hmm.
It just decided to. It happened with Chris Jones, and you can see it happen with Quentin Williams, where it's like, oh, if he just decides he's gonna be back there, dog, there's nothing you can do about it.
He's gonna be back there. It is what it is. They said the double teams. They tried to send 3 guys and keep him out of there. It's not working. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. He's good, man. He's really good. But just to get back on the Jets, like, offensively, I don't know what they're gonna look like. Now, even taking Aaron Rodgers out of it, I think that offensive line could give them trouble. And I don't think their receiving core outside of Garrett Wilson is good at all. Garrett Wilson's great. Garrett Wilson is special.
So you're not a believer in Randall Cobb and Alan Lazard. They got Mecole Hardman, who's a kind of a utility player instead of a legitimate wide receiver. Yeah, I can see where you're there. Do you think this is a team that regrets trading Elijah Moore?
Yes, I think it is. I think they're gonna regret it because he would have helped a lot.
And they got an interesting situation going with like Mekhi Becton. Like, I don't know what's going on with him. I think he's going to play this year, but he's
starting at right tackle, I think, now.
Yeah, it's weird. It's and they're playing Dwayne Brown. Is that the Dwayne Brown? I think it is. Okay, no, that's Dwayne Brown. That's Houston Texans Dwayne Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Still in the league, 38 years old. This is an old team too in some spots, right? Because what happens if Randall Cobb and then Aaron Rodgers 40, and then you got a 40-year-old left tackle? And I don't know, man. I don't know. You got Dalvin Cook, and Breece Hall's pretty good. They have Dalvin Cook, not the Buffalo Bills. Why? I think they got the other Cook brother. But yeah, yeah, man. It is what it is. I don't know. I think this is a 10-win team. The Jets. That's where I'm going to go with them. I think they're a 10-win team. They'll probably win the division because I think 10 wins you the division in the AFC East this year. I don't trust the Dolphins. I just don't trust Tua. Like, that's just what it comes down to. I know that people like Tua, and I think Tua's a good dude, but like, I've never been impressed by him at quarterback. Every time I see him throw the ball, I think he's one misstep away from throwing an interception on every play. Like, the ball just floats in the air with him. I don't know. I think if teams figure him out, he's very interceptable. So I just don't love that. The New England Patriots, like, I don't know. What am I supposed to do with them, man? What am I supposed to do with the Patriots right now? Like, It's McCorkle Jones. Like, McCorkle Jones, they got a good defense, right? They're not going to be trying to lose. They're kind of like the Steelers of this division where it's like, hey, okay, 9 wins. Like, maybe they'll get the 8 or 9. I don't know what to do with them. But that's my outlook on the AFC East. You think the Jets are going to win this, I'm presuming? Or the Dolphins? Are you going Dolphins here?
I'm going Dolphins.
Oh, wow.
I'm going Dolphins. Listen, man, I thought they would have won more games if Tua didn't get hurt last year. They would have won a bunch more games if he didn't have the injury issues. If they can keep him healthy,
Which is a big if.
Healthy, that's a huge if, enormous if. If they can keep him healthy, they're going to win that division this year.
Oh, they got Mike White backing them up, though. I don't know if you lose much. I really don't.
We're not doing Mike White discourse. We're
not going to do Mike White. I'm just saying, I don't know how much you lose from Tua to Mike White if we keep it in a bug. I know he's a first round pick. He's all this, and Tua was great in college, but I don't know. I'm not sold. And I've not been sold on quarterbacks who have been much better. So, like, my word's not gospel on this at all. I'm not even trying to act like that. But, yeah, I just don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with Tua. I don't know what to do with the Patriots. I really don't know what to do with the Buffalo Bills. But at least they have Josh Allen. So I think they'll be I think the Buffalo Bills are going to be a playoff team you actually want to play. Like, you're like, they look very beatable, right? The Jets are going to be a little interesting because of Aaron Rodgers there. I think he'll be all right. I think he'll be Kirk Cousins plus. Like, you can win a playoff game with Aaron Rodgers this year. It's not going to be old Aaron Rodgers where it's like, oh my God, he's unstoppable. But he'll have moments like that. He'll definitely have a couple games like that. But I think there's going to be inconsistencies. They're going to finish with 10 wins. I think the Bills will probably be behind them with 10 wins as well, but they're going to lose the tiebreaker for whatever reason. And those two are probably going to be in the playoff race. I just don't think Buffalo's that good. Yeah, that was James Cook. I don't know why I thought James Cook was Dalvin Cook for whatever reason, but shout out to them, both brothers in the division. All right, we're gonna jump to the AFC South. This should be real quick because, like, it's probably gonna be the Jaguars. I can you convince yourself that a team other than the Jaguars is gonna win this division? And I don't say that because I'm a big believer in the Jaguars. It's just, look what everybody else got going on, right? Like, the Houston Texans are setting up to be a disaster. Like,
they're going to be bad.
I legitimately think you can make the argument that, like, pound for pound, CJ had a better squad last year at Ohio
State. He 100% did. He absolutely did.
Like, outside of Laramie Tunsil, I think you can make that argument, especially at wide receiver. They saying Tank Dell's going to be the best receiver out there. Let me see if that's right.
He's cooked. Bro, imagine
their wide receivers are Robert Woods, John Mechie III, Tank Dell, and Nico Collins. Noah Brown and Xavier Hutchinson.
Yeah, man. Let's be honest about what he got going on. Let's just be honest about what he got going on. He had massively better receivers.
Dog, they're starting Kendrick Green
on the offensive line?
Yes.
Okay, so now we got two things. He had massively better receivers at Ohio State. Dog, he probably had a better offensive line at Ohio State that he's about to have right now. Sans Laramie Tunsil, who might be the best left tackle in football.
Shaq Mason's is pretty good too. Man, I don't know if he's still good though, but he was pretty good at one point in time. You know how them expatriates be.
Yeah. Bill be selling you a lemon.
Okay, they're not terrible. They still got Derek Stingley. They got Jimmy Ward. Jalen Petre's all right. Steven Nelson's all right. Will Anderson. I mean, it's not an impressive unit. This is a last place football team. I'm going to keep it a buck. I would be surprised if they won more than 7 games. I think is the bar for them. If they get over 7, that's a 6, 7. Yeah, if they get the single digit losses, that'll be a huge win for them. Mm-hmm. The Colts are an interesting team here because I find Anthony Richardson to be intriguing because what I've seen so far has been pretty promising. But then I look at everything else and I'm like, oh man, this ain't good. So right now no Jonathan Taylor. We don't know what that situation is going to end up being. Has there been an update?
I think he's gonna miss the first couple weeks of the season.
Yeah,
I
so
think they put him on. I think they put him on PUP or something. I don't know what they did, but it's stupid.
oh yeah, I think they put him on player on a non-football injury or something like that, right?
Something.
So it's an automatic 6 weeks out. So yeah, so they're not going to have him. Michael Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, Isaiah McKenzie, and that's all their active wide receivers right now.
I like Pittman. I don't think Pierce is bad. And a lot there.
This is a good college team. I mean, like, there's no proven veteran wide receiver here, right? We got Alec Pierce, who came out last year. Michael Pittman, was he last year or the year before last? Is this his third or second year?
I think it's his third year. He's been in the league for a minute. I think it's his third
He's the veteran in the room, Cole, because Josh Downs is the other receiver. There's only 4 of them. They can't run 5 wide like a true 5 wide set. Now, not that many teams do it, but like they can, if they go 5 wide with the running back, that's their whole wide receiving room out there. They have 4 tight ends. Maybe they really like Mo Alley Cox and Kyle Granson, but like, I don't know. The offensive line's not terrible, but they got the Rain Man. I said it's not terrible, but they're starting Rain Man at left tackle. You could be worse, right? You could be worse. Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly's solid. Braden Smith, I don't know much about him. And Will Fries, I'm not going to pretend like I have an opinion on him. The defense should be fine. This is like an 8-win team to me. If Anthony Richardson looks how he did in preseason, this is an 8-win team to me.
You think they can get? Hey, look, man, I'm gonna be honest with you.
They're also playing the Texans 2 times. We know the Jaguars ain't about to sweep the division. And who else is in this division?
The Titans.
Yeah, the Titans ain't that good either.
Okay, let me get these thoughts out real quick. I think you projected on the high end how many wins these teams gonna get.
Listen, man. That's true. No, I'm saying when I say the win total, I'm saying this is what they like. If they get this will be deemed a successful season. Okay. Because that's what you can, that's the most reasonable, highest bar that you can expect from this team this year. So when I say 7 for the Texans, they're probably winning 3 or 2 or 4. They might just win 2. But if they get to 7, DeMeco Ryans' fantastic job in his first year, right? The same thing with the Colts. If the Colts get to 8, hey, man, nobody expected better.
Okay, I wanted you to establish that because I'm like, man, I don't think the Texans gonna get 7 wins. I don't think the Colts gonna get 8 wins either. The Titans are interesting because I feel the same way about Mike Vrabel that I feel about a similar way about Mike Vrabel that I do about Mike Tomlin, where I feel like the team's going to play disciplined football. They're not going to make a bunch of mistakes. They're going to do everything the right way. But I think they have a talent deficiency at key positions that are going to keep them from being like a 10, 11, 12, that kind of team.
Mm.
But that's a team that's still going to win somewhere between like 7 and 9 games. Somehow, some way.
I'm actually much lower on the Titans. How old is Ryan Tannehill now?
I think, 30, 33? He got to be like 30 something.
Yeah, so he is 35.
Ooh.
Here's the thing with quarterbacks. We always go off the Brady scale. Oh, they could play to their 40. Some guys can play to their 40. And we always assume when it's somebody who people like automatically assume is a pocket passer that they could play till 40. No, man, you look at 34, 35, a lot of those dudes fall off crazy, right? Matt Ryan, a great example. Somebody just went he couldn't even stay in the league after he turned 35. Like, that's how bad it got for him. He got kicked out the league. So Ryan Tannehill's hitting that age where he's probably going to just fall off shit's cliff and be terrible this year. I wouldn't be surprised. And I don't know what Ryan Tannehill's been doing the last few years. He might be already there, but whatever's left, I think you're going to be in a situation where they got to play Will Levis. They got to play Malik Willis. Not because Ryan Tannehill's hurt, but because Ryan Tannehill is throwing this in the dirt. Like, it's just going to be bad out there. Derrick Henry, not a young man anymore. Right? I think Derrick Henry, is he in his 30s now? He wasn't that far behind. He was in the 2014 draft class. So he is now 29, which is the new 40 for running backs. They got Tajay Spears, who I like. But then you look at it, they got DeAndre Hopkins out here. Yeah. They got Treylon Burks, who I was not impressed last year from Treylon. I don't know if you were. I was not. That offense looked like it could stink. And that defense is all right. It's not we can suck and be all right good, though, right? Like, I actually think this is a 6-win football team.
Ooh.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it's worse. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a team that halfway through the season saw the writing on the wall and decided to not play Derrick Henry anymore and go after Caleb Williams. Because they're desperate. Right, you talk about a team that's desperate to fill the quarterback position. They drafted Malik Willis. They drafted Will Levis. They've drafted every upside guy that fell to the third round in the last few years. They are desperate for a quarterback solution. I don't think a lot of people are thinking about it right now, but the Titans, they're on that tank list where I'm like, they can see how shit's going. There's always like a handful of teams that we don't predict is going to be tanking that stink. This is the team I'm looking at because, yeah, Mike Vrabel, this and that, but he knows, like, Ryan Tannehill's on a limited clock. And I think that clock's up. And if it looks like that, I can see a world where they're like, hey, we're just going to throw Will Levis and Malik Willis and have a competition during the season. And Derrick Henry, he got a hamstring. So we're just going to sit him for this year and just roll it out, right? Because, yes, on one hand, they made the move for DeAndre Hopkins. You don't do that if you think you're going to stink this year. But it's desperate because what if they had a better backup quarterback situation? If they had somebody in there they drafted in the first round they felt really good about, they wouldn't be going after DeAndre Hopkins. But right now they're like, well, we got to do something while Ryan's still here, right? And it's Ryan Tannehill that they're doing this with. I don't feel good about that team at all. I think the writing's been on the wall for that team to implode for a little while. They kind of had a soft implosion last year, but I think this is, I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about this team possibly finishing last. That's going to be, I'm not high on them at all.
Man, Titans finishing last. I can't see them finishing. I can't see them finishing last. They probably,
what are
like
the
you
Titans
said,
if Derrick Henry's not out there?
Oh, they're terrible if Derrick Henry's not out there. Horrible. But until I see that man fall off a massive cliff, they got a chance. I
don't know. I think the one thing that they've had is that Ryan Tannehill has been good enough to where you can't completely sell out versus Derrick Henry 100% of the time. What happens when Ryan Tannehill out here throwing like Baker Mayfield? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know what you're going to do with that. AFC West. We got the Broncos. We got the Kansas City Chiefs. We got the Las Vegas Raiders. We got the Chargers. Now, I planned this season to be like, you know what? Russ going to come back this year, right? Like, I feel like everybody kind of went in on him. They were a bit tough on him. I think this is going to be the year he comes back, is fine, and people are like, oh, see how early we got to be more careful about how we treat, But I think Russ, I thought that, and then I heard Colin Cowherd be very low on this Denver Broncos team. And that only concerns me because he's best friends with Sean Payton. And if he ain't high on them, then who is? You know what I mean? Like, that's not good. That is very not good if that man ain't willing to be out here and trying to be early or something. What do you do with that, Cole?
Hey, okay, so we're going to talk about this division. But I want to establish something right now before we even get into the Broncos. It's the Chiefs and it's everybody else. Let's just establish that now.
You don't believe in Jimmy G and the Raiders?
Come on, bro. We're not even gonna do that. Like, it's the Chiefs.
This the Chargers year, man. They about to charge up on them boys. Like, what you mean?
It's the Chiefs and it is everybody else. Now let's establish.
Hold on, wait.
that.
Before we get too deep into this, Jacksonville's winning the South, right?
Oh yeah, easily,
Yeah,
100%.
well, you think they're like a 10, 11 win team? What do you think?
Uh, I'm gonna say 10. I'm gonna say 10 wins.
I think they're a 9 win team. They're in a bad division, so they probably get to 10. But I think this is the division you can get to 9 and win your division. You'd be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
This division is not sending 2 teams. Okay. All right, let's go to the West again. My bad.
Okay, yeah. So it's the Chiefs and it's everybody else. Remember last year we talked about the AFC West? Everybody was saying, well, we might get 3 or
It
4
might be the
playoff
toughest.
teams.
Yeah, it's not.
Nah. It's the Chiefs. Maybe the Chargers make the playoffs too. And then everybody else is just, yeah.
Oh Lord, Brian Hoyer's still in the league. He's on the Raiders. Go.
That should just let you know they ain't about to do nothing. It's over. It's over. Respect to the Cleveland legend, but it's over.
Is Brian Hoyer a former Super Bowl champion? Hey, did he go? Did he go to one of those schools up there? Go. Hey, ain't he an alumni over there
Listen,
at one of the prep academies?
it's not a school that I acknowledge. It don't matter to me.
We know why the Brian Hoyer hate is real. Yeah, I'm the same way with the Kelseys because they went to Cleveland Heights, and I'm like, never in my life will I give them that much credit. Like,
Shout out St. Anne's. But anyway, the Broncos thing is funny because it's like, well, first of all, they're not going to be good because they are the most snake bitten team in the entire NFL. Their entire wide receiver core is going through it. It's just injury after injury. And Russ really wasn't good that year. And he's not going to have his best weapons. It's setting up to be another disaster, is what it is.
here's where I know the Broncos are in trouble. Now, look, shout out to Jaleel McLaughlin, legend at Youngstown State. Had a pleasure watching him run for my Penguins. I legitimately think by the end of like 2 weeks, Jaleel McLaughlin is going to be the starting running back at the Denver Broncos. Because ahead of him right now is Samaje Perine and Javonte Williams.
Oof.
And Jaleel's look good in camp. I think he's going to be the starting running back for them. Which, undrafted dude out of Youngstown, that doesn't say that your room is great, right? But shout out to Jaleel. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, and they got my boy Marvin Mills. Like, I want to root for them so bad. Like, there's so many young players that I like on this team. But there's no reason for me to be encouraged about this. He didn't even look good when he played in the preseason, I think. Well, did he play in the preseason? Let me at least be fair. Like, I don't think he played in the preseason.
Bro,
I
we
don't
saw him
know.
play last season. We saw him play
Yeah,
last season. He
I mean,
wasn't
it's
good.
a new offense. It's a new offense, right? You know,
Dog, let's be honest. Sean Payton already trying to throw that man under the bus. We ain't even played one game yet.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, it doesn't sound like Sean Payton's 100% behind this right now. Like, that's what concerns me.
How am I gonna believe in this football team if your head coach don't even believe in your quarterback, man? Come on, let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Yeah, so I'm not high on the Broncos. That could be another, like, they win 6 games. The Raiders, man, I'm gonna go. They're a 7-win team max. Jimmy Garoppolo's finally gonna get his just desserts. No way that this dude stinks his way through another winning season. I cannot imagine that happens again, Cole. Like, if he does, I'll just say F it. He's magic. Like, you know what? He's magic. This man is magical. He's terrible. He got the like Mike shoes on when he plays because he's terrible. He is objectively awful in like 9 statistical categories that matter. And yet he wins. So if he wins this year and it doesn't finally come back to bite him, all right, I give it up. Jimmy, you magic. All right, if he finds a way to go and win 9 wins with this Raiders team, who's not that bad, by the way.
They're not that bad.
It's just Jimmy Garoppolo without Kyle Shanahan. I just feel like that's a disaster waiting to happen.
The Raiders are interesting to me because last season they should have won a bunch more games. They had a bunch of winnable games that they just blew one way or another. I think McDaniels is the biggest issue there, to be completely honest with you. I think he is going to hold that football team back. They're probably going to get like, I'd say they probably get about 7 wins. They probably get about 7 wins. But
Man,
it's
this is
how
such a
they.
good team though. Like Josh Jacobs,
That's what I'm
Devontae
saying.
Adams. They got Hunter Renfro. Hey, shout out to Austin Hooper, still in the league. He's out there. They have a good team. Defensively,
Yes.
Max Crosby, Chandler Jones is out there. Robert Spillane is a solid piece. They got Marcus Peters, who looked kind of cooked last year in Baltimore, but we'll see what happens with him. Yeah. I'll go. This is an 8-win team. If they get to 10 with Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm just gonna have to give up on the Jimmy G hate because clearly this man is magical. Like,
The thing
clearly.
is, the thing is though, bro, like, and I'm not a Derek Carr fan. I ain't no Derek Carr hater either. He's a lot better than Jimmy G to me. Like a lot better than Jimmy
Oh
G.
yeah, in a heartbeat, I would rather have Derek Carr than Jimmy G.
How many games they win last year with Derek?
I think they benched him at the end of the season, right? I think they won
They
like
benched him
7 or something like that.
7 or something like that, man. Like if they did that with Derek Carr, I can't see them winning more games with Jimmy G though. I can't. I can't see it.
The Chargers are an interesting team because they're a good team. They have a good quarterback. They have some names on defense. But like, I don't trust Brandon Staley anymore. I really like Brandon Staley, his decision making, plus the fact that he coaches the Chargers, who just historically have bad luck. I just don't think that's a good combination there, right? But like you look at the roster, Mike Williams, Keenan Adams. I mean Keenan Adams,
Keenan
Keenan
Adams.
Allen.
Dang.
They got
Don't
Quentin
disrespect that man.
Johnson. They got Quentin Johnson. You know what I mean? Like he's looked really good. He's looked really good in camp. Rashawn Slater, I thought was pretty good. Zion Johnson's a guard prospect I like. They got Corey Linsley, a center prospect. I like. I don't know the right guard and right tackle. I don't think they're terrible or anything like that. They still got Khalil Mack. They still have Derwin James, even though he hasn't played a full season in a very long time. Asante Samuel, J.C. Jackson. It's a good Joey Bosa. It's a good team. 10 wins. Like 10 wins.
10
10
wins?
wins. 10 wins. If they get more than 10, I think that's a very successful season for them. If they get under 10, it's about what it's been.
Here's where I'm at with the Chargers. I think offensively they're going to be fine because Justin Herbert is an alien. Like he is just everything you want in a quarterback. I feel like Justin Herbert is that. I feel like he can do it all. I feel like he can make crazy throws. He hit the layups. Every game he just does something. You just like
You know
how
who he reminds me of?
who?
He's like Devin Booker in basketball. Like he does all of these amazing things. He's a great scorer. He has all of this potential. But like I just don't ever be like, oh God, here come Devin Booker in the fourth quarter. He about to heat us up. And sometimes that does happen. But like if you're down with 4 minutes left and Justin Herbert has the ball, you feel the same way that you feel if it's old ass Aaron Rodgers or even like Joe Burrow or somebody like that, Lamar Jackson. I'm much more afraid with those dudes at quarterback than I am of Justin Herbert. Like I feel like he puts up a lot of yards, but like, and he puts up a lot of points, but for whatever reason, they just seem like they easy points to match. Like he don't ever like, you know what? I don't know. I might be tripping on this one. But I just don't be fearing it. I'm not like ever worried about it.
Yeah, we disagree there. I've seen it. Like this is the thing about the Chargers, and this is my second point. You listed all these names on defense.
You know what it is? It's that he does this stuff, but like a team always like outmaneuvers him. Like he did this against the Steelers a couple years ago where he came back. He had like 3 fourth down conversions. I was like, damn. And then like the Steelers ended up winning the game by like 2. Like
It's the defense that I don't believe in. You listed the names,
and it's Brandon Staley.
but they didn't really play well last year. Is the thing though. But they had all those names and all these guys that we know have been productive, all these guys we know have been good in other places. But when you watch the Chargers defense, they weren't good. No better example than the second half of that playoff game against the Jaguars.
That's what I'm saying. It happens to him too much for me to be out here afraid.
But like, that's not on him though. That's on them.
Yeah, but he the dude whose face be on the screen, so I just associate it with him. You know what I mean? Like, it just happens with dudes where it's like, I can't take a lead serious because I like Cat. He's Cat. That's who he is. He's Karl Anthony Towns. If the Timberwolves got a 25-point lead on the Heat, oh, I'm betting on Jimmy. I'm betting on Jimmy because I just know how this goes with him. They got the same movies. And it ain't something, a lot of the times it ain't Cat fault, but it's Cat fault kind of.
I'm going to stop you right there. What we not going to do is compare Justin Herbert to Karl Anthony Towns.
It's Karl Anthony Towns. Thank you for helping me get to that realization. He is football Karl Towns. That's what he is. A really good player, a legitimate all-star, a legitimate franchise player. Just for whatever reason, you don't ever take the team that he's the franchise player of that series. That's Karl Towns. Doesn't that sound like Karl Towns?
Hey man, this is the craziest comparison you've ever had since we've been doing this together.
I feel like this might be one of my best.
This is nuts. This is terrible.
He's Karl Towns. That's perfect. He is football Karl Towns. I will be tweeting that out the second Justin Herbert gives me a little bit of room to tweet that shit out.
Chargers fans, I did not say that. I did not say that. I don't agree with that.
I'm not saying he's soft or anything like people assume Karl Towns to be. It's just you feel the same way about playing a Karl Towns-led team in basketball that you feel against playing against Justin Herbert, which is like, yeah, I know he good, but we got this, right? Like...
Oh man,
the Jaguars, dog. He sat there and let the Jaguars come back from what? From what? 28?
Hey, is that him?
Did nothing. He did nothing. He did nothing. What did he do? Did he not get the ball in the second half? Did they ban him from the football field? He sat there and watched it happen. Like he didn't do a damn thing. Did they score points to prevent this from happening? Because he had a whole half.
You're giving the defense crazy bail, right? Crazy bail.
The defense doesn't deserve any bail. But like, dog, Justin Herbert was out there for a whole half of football, and he's just sliding. Like he ain't do nothing. He couldn't have gotten one first down to prevent this. And it's not like it happened versus one of the greatest teams. It's one thing if the Kansas City Chiefs do you like this, because that happens. It's Pat Mahomes, dog. Sometimes just happens when Pat Mahomes on the football field. You let the Jaguars and baby Trevor Lawrence do you like that? Come on. Nah. I'm sorry. I can no longer take. That was it for me. That was what Karl Towns do that made everybody stop taking him serious. Whatever it was, that was the moment for me where I'm like, that's Karl Towns. That's football Karl Towns. Let me stop paying this much attention to him because he football Karl Towns. He didn't do nothing. Cole, he could have did something.
Hey, make sure you clip this part of the video and tweet this one out. Make sure because we need
why? So I can get angry Charger fans at me.
We need the people to hear this one. I did not agree with that. I did not say where the camera. I did not say that. Absolutely.
I'll just say if somebody come back 28-0 on you. Like if somebody come back like the Jaguars did on the Chargers, you gotta look at the quarterback because dog, this ain't supposed to. We ain't looked at Matt Ryan the same ever since he let Tom Brady come back on him in the Super Bowl. And Cole, we talk about Tom Brady, right? We do this all the time. I don't know why we don't want to do it to him. What do we do to the dude who decided that he was gonna guard Michael Jordan in his last NBA Finals? We clown that man to this day. Even in the last dance doc, Mike out here like, yeah, I told him I was going to get his ass in July, last year, because he came up talking shit. And then I found him, and then I two-pieced him right there. Pow, pow, NBA Finals. We don't let that man slide for letting him score. But But we out here like, yeah, Justin Herbert had nothing to do with the fact that he didn't put up no points when somebody else was coming up on a historic comeback.
Hold on. I didn't say he had nothing to do with it. What I'm saying is it's a whole other side of the football that we still have not discussed.
I'm saying if Justin Herbert was that man, that don't happen to that man. Right? Who did the Lions get? Was it the Lions that gave up that historic lead to Kirk Cousins?
I don't remember if it was the Lions. I don't know. I don't know.
Either way, whatever quarterback allowed that to happen, not that man. Not that man. You think you coming back on anybody who's elite? Like, seriously, think of all the other elite quarterbacks in the NFL. You think that's about to happen with Lamar Jackson out there?
No.
You think that's happening with Joe Burrow out there?
No.
You think that's ever happening to Pat Mahomes? I don't care how bad. You can have me and you out there playing defense. You give Pat a 25-point lead, he's keeping it. What do we? Is he really elite? Is he really elite? Because that's not happening to no other elite quarterback ever. It wasn't even happening to dudes like Ben Roethlisberger, who wasn't even elite, just really, really good. This wasn't Nah, this don't happen to no elite quarterback in the playoffs. He ain't say and give me one drive. Man. Nah, I just talked myself into it. I don't know about Justin Herbert, man. I don't know, dog. He just sat there and let it happen. Let it happen.
I'm still thinking about this Carl Anthony Towns comparison. That's crazy.
Yeah, who would you be surprised if Carl Towns gave up a 40-point lead? But he had 35, Cole. It wasn't his fault. He let them come back, dog. I wouldn't be surprised. The same way I wasn't that surprised when I found out it was the Chargers.
Hey, how did Carl Anthony Towns end up catching these strays? Oh man,
he called Towns, man. I can't take it serious. I can't. Sorry, Devin Booker, you don't deserve that. Okay, Devin Booker is legit. You not coming back with Devin Booker out there, but Carl Towns, yeah. I'm sorry, I can't. It's not even happening to Jalen Hurts, and we don't know if Jalen Hurts is elite. But come on, dog. Like, that's crazy. You just sat there and was like, yeah, man, defense got this. They ain't have it. Go get some points. Like, 2 field goals. You know what I mean? Like, I got to see the drive now of what happened in that game. I got to rewatch it because I'm pretty sure I'm wrong about some of the details in this. But if I go back and watch that game and he just let him come back, oh, yeah, I'm 10 wins, losing in the first round. Put it down. Put it down.
Oh, they one of them teams we try to play the playoffs? Yeah, we want to play them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay, we gonna see. I agree with you.
They're one of the teams you have a conversation about, hey, do we really want to win the last game of the season? Because we could play the Chargers at home.
Like the Cavs last year when they said they
was trying to get the Nets. Yes. Like everybody ever who's ever been in a playoff picture while the Timberwolves were in it with Carl Towns. Because don't that happen with Carl Towns? Oh yeah, we try to get this 3 seed so we can get this 3-6 matchup with the Timberwolves. And what happens?
Hey, didn't the Lakers beat the Timberwolves in the play-in? I'm pretty sure that happened.
Yeah, that happened. And nobody was surprised. Nobody was surprised. Yeah.
Hey, shout out Minnesota. I appreciate that. I really appreciate
the people of Minnesota and San Diego and the LA area. Well, look, ain't that many people watching the Chargers. So how many people could really be mad at me? Let's be honest.
Chargers
I've lived in LA. I've never seen a Charger fan in LA. I lived there while they was there. I saw a lot of Raiders fans. I saw some Rams fans.
Oh yeah.
I've seen more Lakers jerseys at a football game than I have seen Chargers jerseys in LA at a football game. I'm pretty sure people just wear their Lakers jerseys. But it's the same colors. Like, it's still yellow. They gonna think we rocking the squad. Let me leave the Chargers alone. So the Chiefs 12-win bar.
Oh yeah. At least 12.
At least 12. They get over it,
They
and it's a
they
historic
might get
season.
they might get 13, 14.
I don't think this
It's just
division is
different.
that good.
It's just different over there.
You know, it's funny. We talk about how like difficult the AFC North, the AFC is going to be, and it was like there's really one division that you can convince yourself is going to be super good. Everybody else, you're like, well, that team, then there's flaws there, and then you look at this team, yeah, the quarterback's good, but he's Carl Towns, and then you look at this team, and I don't know what the Bills going to be because that team might not. Again, when we only make it about the quarterbacks, it's going to seem like it's impossible to get out the AFC, but like teams have flaws, and I think that's one of the things in the AFC picture that people forget. All right, let's talk about the AFC North.
Oh, it's that time?
All right, the North. I think all of these teams are somewhat interesting. Let's start with the least interesting one, Pittsburgh. A lot of people are high on them. Offensively, I just can't get over how limited they project to be.
Definitely a lot of hype for the Steelers. I get it. Mike Thomas never lost. Never had a losing season. The defense is always going to be good. They're always going to be well coached, always going to be disciplined. Not going to make a bunch of mistakes. Offensively, I don't see the Kenny Pickett leap that people are talking about. I don't see that happening at all. But they still going to get 9 wins no matter what.
That's my range for them is 9 wins.
And they go get Mike Tomlin's going to get those 9 wins.
The bar's at 9. They'll get 9. The Ravens.
The Ravens, to me, probably. No, I can't say they're the most underrated, but I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up winning the division. Would not be surprised.
I think they're a little overrated.
Why?
All right. So, what does everybody talk about with the Ravens?
The receiving core?
Well, no. We're talking about not bad, but like, what's the thing that everybody's like? Well, the Ravens are going to be good because they have.
I mean, Lamar.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to start with Lamar then. Real questions. We really believing in this whole Todd Monken thing?
I don't know.
They're going from having a excellent run game offensive coordinator to an offensive coordinator who has a spotty reputation in the NFL. What happens if that run game goes away for Baltimore? Now, they can say, hey, we're going to keep this stuff and run the same stuff. What happens when teams adjust for that and Greg Roman's not in the building anymore to make any of those adjustments? We saw the run schemes when Nick Chubb was here with Todd Monken. Not inventive. Like, it was a breath of fresh air when Kevin Stefanski got brought in here.
That is true.
So, what if they can't run the ball anymore? We already know the type of disasters that can be created for quarterbacks in this system. When you look at Lamar and you look at what he does best, he does intermediate, middle of the field throwing really, really well in the pocket. Where he struggles is everything down the field. He's at his least accurate when he has to consistently attack downfield. This is a system that requires you to consistently attack downfield. I think they're going to be worse on offense. I could see them being a very turnover-heavy offense. And then I look at this defense, and people think it's good. But look at them corners, Cole. Hump's hurt for the first few weeks, and then it's Rock Ya-Sin. Am I supposed to be... Roquan Smith is not a good coverage linebacker. He might be the third best coverage player they have on that defense right now. Starting week 1. That's the problem. And I haven't even talked about their pass rushers. Odafe Owe, most famous for having 2 sacks in college. Then you have David Ajabo. Have no idea what he's going to be in the league. And Jadeveon Clowney, a notorious sack master in the NFL. What if they can't get pressure? Then that secondary becomes exposed. Now that defense ain't good. This has all the makings to me of a very frustrated 9-win team or an 8-win team. And honestly, I'm putting the bar at 8.5. I think this is going to be a surprise last place team.
Thing about the AFC North is that all the teams are, at least in my opinion, all the teams are very talented. All the teams have very good players all throughout the roster, at least in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be shocked if any team, with the exception of the Bengals, I wouldn't be shocked if any team besides the Bengals came in last. I wouldn't. The Ravens, to me, I'll be honest with you, man. I love Lamar. I think he's the most exciting player in the NFL to watch when he's healthy and he's on his game. I think the receivers they have, not even probably, definitely the best that he's had since he's been there. Not saying
That's
much.
true.
Not saying much.
But also, Odell Beckham, crazy injury history.
Crazy injury history.
Rashad Bateman, crazy injury history.
True.
Nelson Aguilar history. Zay Flowers is 5'8" in the NFL.
I think Zay could be crazy though. I think
Zay,
he might be
can
crazy.
he stay healthy?
We won't know.
Especially how they use him. Because they're going to be using him in boxes. And then if we're talking about this Todd Monken passing offense, when he's not running screens, he's going down the field. How are you going to find him down the field? He this tall. Like, what you about to do? You know how hard it is to see a 5'7" man down 40 yards? Like, that's hard to do. And then to throw the ball to him, I don't know. I just think there's a lot of questions. Like, Mark Andrews is still there. I'm not going to ignore that. Mm-hmm. They seem to like Likely. But I just, this offense has all the makings to be one of them offenses that kind of like surprises everybody that they're not good. And then they're going to try to switch back to stuff. I think it's going to be a mess all year.
You could be right.
And now let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. I think this is a pretty simple conversation. 12-win bar.
Yep.
Well, no, 11-win bar. I'll put it at 11. I think they can get to 12, but 11-win bar.
11, 12, either way.
11 and a half. Let's split the difference. Yeah, 11 and a half.
Double-digit wins.
There's no mystery there. I don't know how Bengal fans will find a way to be mad at me for saying this, but they will. 11 and a half. That's their bar. They'll be a contender. They're a really good team.
Yeah.
They're not, but they've been the same team for a while, so they're not that interesting to talk about. A team that has not been together for a while, that is 100% interesting to talk about, because the range of outcomes could be anything, is the Cleveland Browns. There is a best case scenario that can go crazy for this team. There is a worst case scenario that can go even crazier. I tend to think it's leaning in the direction of best case scenario, but I also root for the team. So
I'm gonna be real, dog. I don't know what's about to happen. I don't know. I don't know what's about to happen. I really don't. I can't like, I can tell you all the things that should go right. We can talk about all the improvements they've made on defense, changing the offense. They brought in Bill Musgrave just to make sure that they could do all the shotgun and empty stuff that they want to do, and they integrate it properly, and they put Deshaun in the best possible scenario to be successful. They went out and got Elijah Moore, drafted Cedric Tillman, brought in Jordan Akins. Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Brought in Jordan Atkins. Who else did they bring in? Marquise Goodwin, who they brought in. We
ain't talk about the defense.
We didn't even talk about the defense yet. They brought Marquise Goodwin in because they needed somebody who was fast, who could stretch the field, who could actually catch the ball. They thought they lost him.
The 10 need them shots.
I didn't say nothing about that man.
10 didn't need that.
I'm just saying that can run fast, actually catch the ball. Thought they lost him, got him back. So he's back now. We ain't talking about the defense. They have the worst. When I say the worst, I mean the worst interior defensive line rotation in the entire NFL last year. And they went out and got Dalvin Tomlinson, Shelby Harris. They drafted Siaki Ika. Jordan Elliott's still here for some reason, but they got Tristan Hill in the practice squad, who will probably be elevated and will probably play more snaps than Jordan Elliott.
They didn't even have the best rotation in the interior defensive line of the college football playoff last year.
Like, let's be real, man. Like,
it was bad.
It was terrible. The pass rush, Taven Bryant was the second leading sack getter on the Cleveland Browns last year, who is no longer here. He is with the Indianapolis Colts. They went out and got Zadarius Smith and I'm not double O. I'm not going to try to say his last name because I'm going to mess it up. They've done everything they possibly can to improve this football team. And on paper, it looks like a very, very talented and very good roster. This team could win. I could see this team winning 12 games. I could see this team winning 8 games. I could see this team winning 7 games. I can see the team winning 11 games. I have no idea what they're actually going to do.
Yeah. That being said, 14 win bar.
There it is.
In all seriousness, I think this is an 11 and a half. Or I think 11 win bar. I'll go 11. No, I see. 10 and a half. 10 and a half. There we go. 10 and a half. We'll go 10 and a half. Have no idea. I think Deshaun looks good. I think everybody feels good about the team. The team should be good, but we're not going to know for sure. There's a lot of moving parts, but they feel pretty good about it, and the talent's there. I think the coaches are good. I think highly of Kevin Stefanski. I think highly of Jim Schwartz, even Bubba Ventrone. I think highly of him. There's no reason this team should be bad. It's just we haven't seen them be good consistently, ever.
That's all it is. And to be honest, that's on them. It's not on us. Like, so that's on them.
10 and a half is where I'm actually setting the bar for them. That's the whole NFL preview. This might be 2 videos. Y'all have a great day. Have a good night.